evening, everyone, and welcome to another community check-in. I'm Dr. Emma Craythorne. I'm the founder of Klira, and I really love doing these because what I get to do is catch up with the people who are actually currently using our Klira specials and to find out the difference that it's made in their lives. Thanks to everybody who's joining. I can see you all coming along now, and I'm really excited that tonight I'm going to be speaking with Sophie, who has sent in some pretty amazing before and after pictures. Now, many of you know I'm not the hugest fan of before and after pictures because quite often the photos are not taken in the same light, they're not taken in the same kind of way. Sometimes even on the same day or in different lighting, somebody can suddenly look so much better. However, the photos that we had of Sophie were just quite remarkable. Hi, Sophie.
Hi Emma, you're right.
I'm really good. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm just turning up my volume a little bit. Thank you so much for doing this. I was just giving the introduction about how excited I get to do these because it really just tells people a bit more than just a before and after. It just tells people what the story is like, what you've been through with your skin.
Yeah.
And I mean, in all honesty, the amazing transformation that I have seen. So it's just fabulous.
Yeah, it's been great actually. It's really changed my life, to be honest. I just feel a lot happier and a lot comfortable, and it's just life is easier every day. So
Yeah, I
it's
actually
really
had
good
some.
change. Yeah.
I had somebody in clinic as well today who's been on the Clear program and actually has your skin size, which made me think
Hmm.
of us doing this tonight, and as well had the same changes in her skin. And
Yeah.
she said to me, "Oh, my skin just feels it's she's on TV and she has her skin done, makeup done every day, and she said my skin just feels so reliable now that whenever I'm going to get my makeup put on, I just know that it's going to look nice because
Hmm.
it's just reliable." Do you mind to tell us a little bit about what your skin was like in the past and the kind of struggles that you had with it before you
Yeah.
came to Clara? Would that be okay?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always struggled since I was a teenager with my skin, with spots and being oily and all that stuff when I was younger. But as an adult, I just kind of never got to the point where it was nice for a long time. There was always something that happened, and you using that word reliable, it's kind of that, when is it going to go bad? When will it change? Because it always felt like the good periods were too good to be true, and then something would happen. But yeah, I think I traveled for 3 years, so I spent a lot of time in the tropical sun. And I think when I came back and adjusting back to the English weather, lots of things started to happen because it was really good for a while. I kind of got that kind of sunshine honeymoon period, and then everything changed. And I got what I kind of diagnosed myself as with rosacea, and didn't go and see anyone. I didn't ask anyone to tell me. I just kind of knew it was after looking online. So I'd get a lot of texture, a lot of redness, kind of unpredictable pink blushes. I'd walk into a warm room and immediately go bright red. But for me, it was kind of the texture that was the worst thing because it made me look older as well. And now I'm in my late 30s. I'm kind of panicking about getting old. So that was another thing just on top of that. And yeah, I couldn't kind of keep it calm, and I just pile all the makeup on and try different skin products and just go back and forth. Using one skin product that would be really good again for a few weeks, maybe a couple of months, and then suddenly it wouldn't like it anymore. So again, it was never reliable, it was unpredictable, and that's what kind of led me to try and find some help.
I think
in
that's
a
right.
different
I
way.
think you kind of touch on as well there that, part of the issue as well was that textural change. And one of the most frustrating things about a textural change is you can't cover it. You can't
Hmm.
cover light and shade. You can cover
Yeah.
color, and you can cover flat marks, but you can't really cover that textural change. And you're
Yeah.
right. Whenever you then kind of see the textural change like that, when which is entirely because of the inflammation bubbling away underneath, it does make that change on your skin that makes your skin look older than what it is.
Yeah.
Youthful skin is associated with a glow and a kind of an even radiance of the skin, whereas an older kind of skin is typically associated with a duller radiance of the
Yeah.
skin and a more
And
uneven texture.
trying to create the glow with makeup is near impossible when your skin is textured and bad underneath. And I kept I'd always try and create that dewy look, but then I felt like I needed more coverage. So I'd pile on the powder, and I just wear so much powder, and then that would dry me out. And since I've had the SkinSize, the serum, I haven't used powder. I've just decided to throw it in the bin and never put that stuff on my face again because I don't need to, because I've
You
just got
really,
natural dewiness. I don't need it.
I mean, I'm sure everybody, I'm getting loads of hearts just coming in here now,
Yeah.
saying exactly that. I mean, your skin does look absolutely radiant. It has got just such an even glow to it. It's really is gorgeous. So you're a skin size 3. All the hearts are coming in. um, so
Oh.
you're a skin size 3.
Hmm.
And just for anybody who might be joining that's not familiar with our skin sizes, you can take your free skin size test, and that just gives you a little bit more information about your skin. And we divide skin up into how it behaves, really, and you don't have to know the answers. It's just exactly what happens to you. So you don't need to, you're not the dermatologist. We take all of that out of your hands. It's simply you just answering the questions. But your skin is somebody's skin who is prone to being oily, and that can be problematic. But also it being sensitive, and then that can be problematic because if you try and treat the excess oil, which often people will do with quite harsh ingredients, well, when you've then got sensitive skin, what happens is that your skin barrier gets very frustrated with that and the
Yeah.
oiliness as well. And then that's when all of this inflammatory bumps come along. So actually trying to treat oily skin is really difficult if it's sensitive. And that's why, once you've got your skin size 3 under control with the right treatment, you're good. Like, you're going to be good now. But it's just finding the right path to get it. And when you did your skin size test, did all of that ring true with you whenever you were then, it was explained
Yeah.
to you what it was?
The keep safe really made sense to me, actually, because it was, really a case of keeping things away from my skin rather than adding things to it and trying to simplify. And I think that's what was frustrating as well, because it takes a longer period of time to take things away and try and figure out what the problem is. And then finding a routine that worked, and then that stopped working. It was like, okay, I've got to keep it safe. I've got to keep it protected. Stop putting loads of products on it. Stop spraying things near it, or, just using all these harsh chemicals. And I didn't know anything about certain ingredients that were good for my skin. And usually when I tried adding a new one, it just made it worse. So it took all of that kind of research and worry away when I started with the Klira.
And do you mind to share with everybody what because I always make recommendations for your moisturizer, your SPF, and your cleanser.
Yes.
What have you decided to go with?
I pretty much went with everything that you recommended. I've got it here because I can't say the
Oh,
name. So
brilliant.
Lipica Balm.
The Lipicar Balm. So I love this Lipicar Balm. So just for everybody who's
Mm-hmm.
seeing this now, this is actually in a big tub, as you've just seen. It's really kind of been designed for babies with eczema or children with eczema. It's an absolutely wonderful body cream for children with eczema. But actually, it's also just such a nourishing cream for the face. And so for anybody who has a rosacea type skin or a very sensitive skin, and you're just trying to restore that skin barrier, the Lipicar Balm is one of the ones that I
It's
recommend a lot.
gorgeous. It's so gorgeous, and it's such a huge bottle as well. It's so good value for money. So I'll be keeping that, and I'll be sticking with it for sure.
What did you think whenever you saw how you have an oily skin, and then I give you this really thick, oily
Yeah.
cream? Like, what went through your mind whenever that
Um,
happened?
Well, actually, I started as well with the oat cleanser from the Inky List, which again, when I first put it on, it felt really oily, and when I used the flannel, I just didn't feel like my skin was clean. So that took me a few weeks to get used to, but now I absolutely love that kind of oily feeling. I feel clean and hydrated at the same
Yes.
time. And with the Lipica balm, it does take a little bit of time to get used to because it is quite oily, but then I just leave a little bit of time in between putting that on and putting my SPF on so that it has a chance to kind of sink in. I don't use it at night time because at the moment I'm not finding that I need
Yeah.
it with the serum. But I did use it a bit more in the colder weeks at the beginning of the year, just after I started the whole thing. But yeah, I really love it. And as I said before, I love the dewy look, so I'm not actually too bothered about that kind of oily appearance. And my concealer seems to sit really nicely on top of everything. So, it's all working really well. Again, reliable. It's good.
I've just had another Fifi O'Con, who I know is a skin size 3 as well, because we did a community live check-in with her. Hi, Fiona. And whenever she first joined, and the question was, do you recommend to use the moisturizer in the summer? And the thing is that the Lipicar in the summer, um, yes, in the morning, but a bit like Sophie's just said, if for most people you don't really need to use any moisturizer at nighttime. The nighttime moisturizer might only be if you're, say it's really harsh cold, it's really windy, you've gone into somewhere where you know your skin's going to dry out a lot. Only then do you really need to add that moisturizer in at night time. And for some skin size threes, you don't need any moisturizer during the summer months at all, especially if you're a very, very oily skin size three. So sometimes just your cleanser and your SPF is enough for you if you're a very oily skin size three. Most skin size threes will want to do a moisturizer in the morning. And rarely would a skin size three want to do a moisturizer in the morning and nighttime. So that's the
I
kind of
do
way of it.
sometimes add a little bit of it at nighttime if I'm, if I've accidentally put some of the serum in my,
Yes.
the little bits that get dry. Sometimes I just put a bit of that moisturizer there, and at the corner of my eyes, just to make sure I don't get any dryness in the morning. So I've kind of figured that out now.
And
Um,
which SPF did you go
and
for?
it is the Eucerin Oil Control 50,
Lovely.
SPF 50, which again is like smooth and luxurious, and it's just
Yeah.
lovely.
And it sits really nicely. It's got a nice
Hmm.
kind of light reflex when it hits off
Yeah,
the skin, I think, and
yeah,
it doesn't feel too greasy, especially since you've got your moisturizer on underneath. So it's not like you're putting two super moisturizing things on. They
yeah.
complement each other quite nicely. And then, of course, let's talk about the jewel in the crown, the Klira Special.
Yes.
How have you been getting on? What did you think of that whenever you first received it? You're like, what? How's this going to work? What went through your mind?
It just kind of seems a bit kind of crazy that just one bottle can create all the magic. I was a bit like, is that all I need to do? Just one thing at night time and I'm done. So yeah, I was a bit perplexed at first, but it's been great. It feels really nice. I've got really used to the texture and how it goes on and where to put it on and how to spread it. And yeah, it's just lovely. And then waking up in the morning, everything's fine. And I actually really enjoy how I look in the morning now compared to what I used to feel. Don't wash my face in the morning. I just splash some water, don't use a cleanser or anything. So that's been a change in my routine. But yeah, at first I was a bit unsure about whether to put it around my eyes. And I contacted your team just to ask them. And they said it was fine as long as, like I don't get the corners there and the bits around my nose and in the corners of my mouth. So I do now put it under my eyes.
Yeah.
I think one of the ladies said not to get it right up towards the edge, but I definitely put it there and around and just avoid the corners. And I think that's helped with my wrinkles as well.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
mean,
seeing positive results with anti-aging as well as the texture and the appearance itself.
I think that's things. So one of the ingredients that you have in yours, so yours will be a combination of ivermectin, which we use for rosacea prone skin types, but
Mm,
also it's a really lovely anti-inflammatory for the skin. And then you've got the azelaic acid, which is a super amazing antioxidant, of course, but also really great in terms of how it works in forms of rosacea, as well as other kind of inflammatory markers within the skin. And then the other thing that you have, of course, is tretinoin. And
yeah,
tretinoin, we know, is so good at strengthening the skin and building up the skin.
right.
And a kind of side product of it is it gets rid of wrinkles.
Yeah.
So that's the added little bonus with it.
I've
So it's
stopped
kind of
moaning
like,
about my about aging in the last few weeks or few months, to be honest. There was a point at the beginning of the year where I was like, I'm nearly 40, that's it now, everything's going downhill, and I've kind of stopped. I've noticed myself not talking about myself negatively anymore, so that's good. So
yeah, I
it's
mean, I'm
really made a
not
massive
surprised.
change. It's been great, yeah.
Your skin really does look absolutely radiant. And I think most people would be surprised to learn that you're about to be 40 because you almost look like I'm talking to a
I
teenager
think I'm
here.
actually just going a little bit pink now, but I think that's genuinely the nerves. But that is part of my rosacea. Even when I get nervous, I get a little bit pink. But I haven't been pink in weeks or months, so it's been good because that used to be a daily thing. To be honest, it was just something that happened every day. And
And
I
do
was
you think
thinking yesterday it hasn't happened in ages.
and do you think that the improvement has had an impact then on things like, how quick it is to get ready in the morning, things
Yeah,
that you're doing at work, interactions you have with people? Do you
yeah,
feel that your skin being better has helped in those situations?
yeah, definitely. I spend a lot less time in the mirror. But then it's nice to catch myself when I can see that kind of dewy reflection. But yeah, in the morning, because I used to have to sit at my dressing table and really carefully apply my moisturizer, and then apply makeup on top and try not to do too much in order to make it angry. Because the moment I made it all angry and it all went wrong, I'd kind of have to take it all off and start again to kind of try and create that smooth appearance. Because when you've got the texture, it's just a nightmare. So yeah, I've stopped with all the faffing. I kind of just slap the moisturizer on, whereas before I was very carefully applying it. So that's a huge difference. Yeah, it's just, yeah, a lot less stress. It's great.
Can you ever imagine not being on Klira now that you've seen this
No,
difference?
you've trapped me now. Just having much better skin and having a much easier life is great marketing, because I feel like I'm trapped for life now. But I'm happy, if there's one investment I'm going to make, it's not just about having better skin. Yeah, as I've just said, there's so many other things. Like, saves you time, it makes you feel better, you're more confident, less
Well,
stressed.
honestly, well, look, thank you so much for doing this check-in with me. I really appreciate it. I think
You're
everybody who's
welcome.
joined tonight as well has really seen it. So a SkinSize 3, quite remarkable before and after pictures. But like I say, it's actually the story that goes behind it.
Yeah,
And you've
and
just
it was
given us such a lovely story.
actually your TV program on the Discovery
Was
that
it?
made me think, if I'm going to trust anyone with my skin, it's Dr. Emma. And that's kind of what made me take the plunge and pay for the for the subscription. So I
Oh,
really enjoyed the show. So yeah.
oh, thank you,
Thank you.
Sophie. It was also actually then probably part of the TV show when people kept saying, because I had so many people trying to get in contact with me, and I was like, there must be something that we can do to try and help all of these
Yeah.
other people who are doing this. And then obviously with having the TV show, I was like, well, this has to be, if I'm doing this has to be done really well. This has to actually work. So I think it's a TV show that's actually probably made me make something that has to be so good. But then on
Yeah.
the converse, it makes people who watch the TV show trust in it. So it's
Yeah.
definitely a two-way thing. It
For
makes us
sure.
all better. Oh, thank you so much. And thank you everyone else for joining us as well. I've really loved chatting to you tonight,
You
Sophie.
too.
Take
Thank you, Emma.
care.
You
Bye.
too.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.